Hello, my darlings. Mother Raven here with a story that I myself wrote just for the fun of it. I bring you part 1 of Welcome to the Hotel. It was a dark desert highway. An old 2-door sedan roared past in the night, disturbing the peace. Dawn was driving with the windows down. The air was finally cool, the broken AC not so lethal. He smoothed his hair in the wind and takes a deep breath. He can still smell the joint he smoked a few hours ago, which was odd. His mind drifted back on the day. He left Vegas early that morning, leaving a ranting woman he'd picked up in Texas a day before, screaming obscenities at him. Last thing she threw was his phone, broke to pieces on the cement outside. She was the kind of woman he liked. She lived life in the fast lane. And she helped him with the theft of a cool $1 million that was now in his trunk. But he just couldn't stick with someone that crazy. So he took the money and ran, in the old 80s sedan. He'd decided to stay off the freeways. She'd probably turn him in. It seemed to work. He'd had no trouble all day. Now in California, he was close to the border. He couldn't wait to watch a sunrise from a Mexican beach with a bottle of tequila. He could picture it now. It gave him a sort of peaceful, easy feeling. Suddenly, he saw someone appear in the middle of the road. She was a haggard, evil, witchy woman. Lightning flashed all around him. He slammed on the brakes and she disappeared. His heart was ticking over like a fine Corvette. He realized he had dozed off and the old woman was only a dream. Yeah, that must be it. He knew he needed to take it easy. He saw lights from a building ahead. Dawn pulled to a stop in the gravel outside an exquisite old Spanish mission with a tacky neon hotel sign on it. Sure, seemed legit, but what choice did he have? He got out of the beat-up old car, boots kicking up dust, and slammed the heavy door. He walked to the front door. Heavy, wooden, it was held together with iron bands. He pulled a rope that would ring the bell and heard the echo of the bell ring through the halls on the other side of the door. It was late, and this was an unusual hotel. He wondered if some decrepit elderly couple ran it. Then he wondered how much money they kept on the premises. He heard footfalls. They didn't sound elderly at all. The door creaked open, and he found himself looking down at a stunning creature. She was blonde, white blonde, with the hair pulled up in a hairdo that made her look like a classic movie star. She was wearing a loose maxi dress and was obviously very well off and well kept. She was holding an actual candelabra, candle softly lighting her face and hiding all else in the darkest shadows. He became even more keenly aware of his appearance. Old black leather jacket, overgrown hairstyle, scruffy stubble, almost a beard, ripped jeans, and brown dusty boots. He wouldn't blame her for thinking him a desperado. Well, he was, so before he could continue the thought, she suddenly smiled a warm smile without teeth, but it felt genuine. She positively glowed under the candlelight. Are you looking for a room? Silly question. Of course you are. She stepped back and he followed into a cavernous reception hall. There were actual Victorian gas sconces on the walls. Most of the interior was still hidden in the gloom. He followed her small circle of light to the large, heavy desk. Sign the book. I'll grab your key. He looked at the old sign-in book and wrote down Don Glenn. The alias amused him. He liked astronauts, Anything that flies, really. How much? He asked, reaching for his wallet. She lit another candelabra and handed it to him as she answered, a 20. It seemed improbable, but a hotel without electricity wouldn't be very sought after. The lightning blew out our power. It happens a lot, she said without a smile, and seeming to read his mind. It should be on by morning, don't worry. He nodded in reply. You can leave your car for tonight since it's so late. She walked to a long dark hallway opposite the front door and started walking down its dim length. It seemed quiet at first, but he could hear talking behind some doors, many more than he thought would be there. Snatches of conversation floated out into the cavernous hall. One of these nights, I swear we'll get out. You just had to take it right to the limit this time. I don't belong here, Tim. I belong to the city. Well, you must be the new kid in town. The last comment was right in front of him. A young man who looked like a teen model and sounded like a snake oil salesman out of a Tennessee Williams play. He was well dressed in the latest fashion and was obviously as well off as his anachronistic hostess. She simply smiled. Just passing through. Too tired to drive further tonight, Don mumbled, wishing the young fop would just go, or his hostess would keep going. Nonsense, roared the young man. With a good bath, you will fit right in here, I think. Don't you, Ava? He asked, smirking. I think you need some rest first, Michael, Ava said a bit pointedly. For what reason, Don could not discern. Very well. Good night, then. Michael beamed at him as he passed, again following Ava down the hall. Another 30 feet, and she opened a door with an old brass key. She stepped aside as he entered. The room was old. Heavy 19th century Mexican furniture everywhere, with red velvet everything. As he took it in, Ava stood in the doorway. There are snacks in the cabinet and a mini fridge. Is there anything else you need? No, I'll be fine. Thanks. He stumbled over the words, suddenly embarrassed for some reason. I'll say good night then, said Ava, and quietly closed the door. Damn, thought Don. What kind of nut house is this? A crack house for the elite set? A nut house for exclusive nuts? It didn't really matter. All he needed right now was rest and a way to take care of his dirty laundry. End part 1. So quoth this raven.